And new evidence shows top IRS officials repeatedly failed to tell Congress that their agency was targeting Tea Party organizations. Starting in 2011, 3 congressional committees asked at least 8 times if those groups were being singled out. President Obama said yesterday he has no patience for any political activity at the agency.
If you've got the IRS operating in anything less than a neutral and nonpartisan way, then that is outrageous. It is contrary to our traditions, and people have to be held accountable, and it's got to be fixed.
And this morning, one former IRS commissioner says the agency did absolutely the wrong thing. Jan Crawford is at IRS headquarters in Washington. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Nora, Charlie, and Gail. The IRS is responsible for making sure the correct groups get tax-exempt status. But obviously here, that went way wrong. There were no clear guidelines in place. They had this flood of applications. So to evaluate these groups, what they did was develop a shortcut that only singled out the conservatives.
President Obama's agenda promised so much.
The nonprofit groups behind these ads spent more than $250 million last year on issues at the heart of the presidential election.
I know what it's like to worry whether you're going to get fired.
Now they're at the center of the current IRS controversy. They are called 501c4s, and they run the gamut from big political organizations led by former George W. Bush advisor Karl Rove to volunteer fire departments and community festivals, all of which apply and qualify for tax-exempt status as social welfare organizations.
This is an abuse, a flagrant abuse of the tax code.
Some members of Congress have been sounding the alarm on these political groups since 2010. That's when the Supreme Court decision, Citizens United, cleared the way for corporations to spend unlimited amounts of money on elections. In the wake of the ruling, some groups looking to take advantage of an influx of cash applied for special 501c4 status with the IRS. Applications more than doubled.
There were a lot of applications coming in that needed to be dealt with.
Mark Everson served as IRS commissioner from 2003 to 2007.
Clearly, a group of people was doing absolutely the wrong thing. The IRS needs to make sure that if it is getting into sensitive areas, it does so in an even-handed manner.
Paul Ryan with the watchdog group Campaign Legal Center has been pushing for more oversight of these groups on the right and the left and says Washington has to share the blame for the current scandal.
Was Congress just not doing enough and the IRS not doing enough?
There were some problems that were pretty easily identifiable that Congress could have prevented.
Ryan also blames the IRS for failing to issue clear guidelines on which groups qualify for the tax-exempt status.
The grown-ups at the table did fail in a lot of ways. The grown-ups at the table need to put on their big boy pants, their big girl pants, and tackle these issues.
Now, critics on both sides of the aisle, the left and the right, say a full investigation with hearings is needed to see the extent of these abuses and how far up the chain of command they went. Charlie, Nora, Gail.
Thank you, Jan.